Dear friends, there is this concern or obstacle to our growth, or if you like, distraction to our progress, being a victim of another person's behavior. So that's what I want to bring to you in this episode and conversation. But to stop being a victim in another person's behavior is to separate their behavior from your worth. Because you stop being a victim the moment you refuse to interpret someone's actions as a statement about your value. So it begins like this, saying internally, their behavior is information about them, not a verdict on me. In that you remind yourself their choices reflect them, not me. You notice when you take their behavior personally and pause. You replace self-blame with truth by saying, I'm not responsible for their reactions. The second thing to do is to name what you are actually feeling. And that calls for emotional clarity. Because victimhood grows in confusion, where clarity restores power. So identify the emotion beneath the heart. Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it disappointment? And ask, what part of me is reacting rather than why are they doing this to me? And write down the feeling to reduce its intensity. The other thing is to set boundaries without apology, because boundaries are not walls. The opportunity for growth, and they help you to build a capacity to love better. So you protect yourself. Boundaries shift you from reacting to leading. And it looks like this. I am willing to continue this conversation, but not in a disrespectful tone. So you state what behavior you will not accept. You decide what you will do if the boundary is crossed, and you keep your tone calm and firm, not defensive. Then you stop trying to manage their emotions, because you have to learn how to let go. You are responsible for your behavior, not their feelings. So you notice when you start over explaining or fixing things, you walk yourself up, you upset yourself. So you remind yourself that their discomfort is not my assignment. Allow them to feel what they feel without rescuing. And that way you choose your response instead of reacting. And that gives you the opportunity to regain control of the moment, the conversation, or the interaction. Because a chosen response breaks the cycle of emotional dependence. You say things like this: I hear you. I'm choosing to respond calmly because that's not who I want to be. So you take a breath before speaking. You ask yourself, what outcome do I want? You respond from intention, not impulse. And that gives you opportunity to limit access to your peace. Because if someone repeatedly harms you, you must reduce their influence. You shorten conversations with them or even increase physical distance. You share less personal information and seek support if the behavior becomes manipulative or abusive. That is the way you reclaim your narrative. You reclaim your identity. You stop being a victim when you rewrite the story you tell yourself. You replace "they made me feel" with "I felt." And here is how I responded. So you affirm your agency. I choose how I show up. And then you practice self compassion after difficult interactions. My dear friends, as a way to summarize this conversation or this episode, is you are not a victim of another person's behavior when you refuse to hand them the pen that writes your story. Their actions may hurt, but they do not define you. Your power begins with clarity, naming what you feel, separating their choices from your worth, and setting boundaries that protect your peace. You stop observing their emotions and stop reacting to their chaos. You choose your response, your tone, and your direction. When necessary, you limit their access to you, to your life. Because freedom comes when you reclaim your narrative. And please remember, your dignity is not negotiable. And your agency is yours and yours alone. I hope this helps in your growth and also in your work to navigate not being a victim to someone's behavior. Have a beautiful day.